Yeah,
You
so,
know,
so part of our strength and the value add we bring to the table is we've manufactured fixtures ourselves. We know what goes inside of these things and what the components are and what's needed to produce a solid fixture. And the fixture we produced at the time, almost 5 years ago now, was the highest rated fixture in the market in the United States.
okay,
So we had a 150,000 hour fixture when the average hours on a fixture were 50,000. Today, 5 years later, most of those fixtures are in the 100,000 to 200,000 hour range now. The rest of the industry caught up to where we were. But we know what makes a good component and a good fixture from the component side of the house.
okay,
So things that you need to know. In the world of lighting, everything has a spec sheet. Spec sheets are the necessary evil of the industry, and in our world create challenges because on a piece of paper, two fixtures might look identical based on what the government allows you to write on a spec sheet. So you might have a fixture that's a 50 cents a watt fixture that says 100,000 hours and 10,000 lumen output. And you may have another fixture that's a $4 per watt fixture that's 100,000 hours and 10,000 lumen output. So on paper they look identical. One's 8 times more expensive than the other. Why? That should be the question of Joe. In the real world, we go back to heat kills, right?
right,
So for every 5 degrees hotter a fixture runs than it was intended to run, you lose 50% of those big 100,000 hour numbers that we're talking about. So if a fixture was tested and it's supposed to run at 150 degrees, let's say, at 150 degrees it's supposed to get 100,000 hours. If that fixture, we plug it in and it starts to run, and it's literally running at 155 degrees, you're going to be down to 50,000 hours instead of 100,000 hours. And so what we have found in the market is there's nobody policing the market out there right now. So what we find is a lot of manufacturers will go put a product to test. They'll get the test results they're looking for out of that product, and then they'll go cut costs on building that product. And in cutting costs, they're eliminating some of that heat sink. The better the metals and materials, there's a reason they use gold as a conductor on circuit boards, right? Because it transfers heat better than anything else. So a perfect light fixture would have gold throughout the whole thing, moving that heat. The question is, where between a gold-plated fixture and what's available on the market does it make it a good value-add product for you at the end of the day? And so our expertise is we'll actually bring these fixtures in-house in our facility. We'll look at what the rated temperatures are at the run test of these fixtures, and then we will test them in-house, and we will actually look at our heat gun against those fixtures. And that's part of our product selection in what we do is we're bringing you the fixtures that we've already known are tried and true that are going to be a success in the marketplace. As a general contractor, I'm on the hook for the first 12 months of failures for all the labor inside of your facility. So it's in my best interest to make sure I'm speccing the right product so that I'm not coming back and doing service work inside your facility. So we both win on this one at the end of the day because my company's done all the research to decide what are the top 10% of products on the market we want to serve, and it helps you avoid getting into a product that maybe a manufacturer's cut a few corners trying to hit a price point in the market, trying to get their product out there. So we've gone through a couple of these experiments already with some larger companies, Gunderson and Daimler. Gunderson's example, they spent $400,000 on some light fixtures inside their facility. We just replaced all $400,000. We did $2 million worth of work down there, replaced $400,000 of light fixtures that failed after 2 years because they weren't spec'd properly and not put in the right environment. So it's so important in today's world, understanding that every fixture was intended to be in a certain environment and run under certain conditions. Understanding those conditions and putting a well-built product in that environment is what creates that successful path to where you and I are laughing 10 years down the road because we haven't had any issues. Most of our competitors are in the business of service calls. They're electrical outfits. They get paid for hourly rates.
That's a big point of difference. I hadn't thought about that, okay?
And so they're not always with the mindset that I want to put the best product in because your service calls are going to stop coming in the door if I do a set it and forget it program with you, meaning I go put the best light fixture in here and I know it's going to run for the next. You're happy,
yeah.
But they're not necessarily happy because their business model is based off of service calls. Almost every electrical outfit in the city is based off of service calls or jobs to get the work in and done to pull wires.